darling. She's like, I just see gay pride. I love you and James. Even though I'm exhausted, darling. She's like, I just see gay pride. I love you in jeans.
What do you think about that? more stressful than Dance with the Stars.
What's
and
up, guys?
live from Hollywood.
What's up,
Hey.
everyone?
Hey, everyone. Welcome to day 3 of Cameo Cares live stream. Cameo's first virtual 3-day event raising money to benefit those impacted by COVID-19. While you're watching, you can donate by clicking the link in the description or by going on cameo.com, where all purchases will support COVID-19 relief efforts. I am your host,
Yes.
Jole.
Those cue cards are.
I have it right behind the screen.
If you're reading like a teleprompter, yes, all proceeds.
I'd like to introduce everyone here. Not like everybody doesn't know who everyone is. We have the beautiful ladies first, Emma. Everyone knows, yes.
Emmachka. Woo.
Woo. We also have Mr. Sasha.
Mr. Sasha Farber.
And Mr. Gleb. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks, guys. Good to see you.
What's up, Gleb?
How is everyone doing? You guys surviving?
Yeah, you know, isolation for us is like, it's kind of like normal. We spend a lot of time at home anyway. You know what's not been normal for us is we eat out a lot. So we love restaurants because we're like foodies. So not going out to eat at restaurants has been hard. But I'm like, literally, what was I saying last night? I've been saying we've saved so much money by cooking and eating in, and we feel healthier. And I've learned how to
Debatable.
cook.
When Emma cooks, we don't feel so
Yeah,
healthy.
I'm not that great at cooking, but I've gotten a lot better, and Sasha's good at cooking, so we've been feeling good about that. That's
nice.
What's your favorite meal to cook?
No more coffee shops.
Oh, well.
That's it. Well, even though there are a couple of open right now.
Yeah, but you order online and then you just go pick it up at the window. You don't even touch them. That's really amazing. Good. And we walk there. So we walk, and it's like 2 miles. So like honestly, we've been walking just really a little bit. Like the neighborhood's been walking a lot. So even though everybody's keeping like crossing the street and keeping real distant, everybody's been so nice and like I don't know.
So nice. They like come up to you, give you hugs and kisses. Like it's the best.
But I mean,
look, yesterday I drove around and there were so many cars, so many people. It was just crazy. Like just the city is alive. You know what I mean? Like last week there was no one. Everyone was so stressed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And people have started to
listen in Huntington Beach. There's like rioters saying, "Open up California." This is blah blah.
Yeah, but that's not good. That's not good. That's terrible. Like over here on our streets, it's busy, but with people walking and
everyone keeps their distance and everyone's got masks.
But it's like they still like wave and nod. Like I feel like I've seen more of my neighbors now than I've ever seen because we're always busy. We're always working. I know that's not like a popular thing to say, but we still keep distance. But it's been nice. It's been nice doing like normal at home stuff.
But I'm ready to go back to normal life. To be honest with you, I'm ready. I can't wait
to. You were back in normal life.
Well, I would love to go back on tour. I would love to go do a show.
Yeah.
Gleb wants to get out of the house, huh? Get me out.
Let's go.
No, I mean, look, it's not bad in the house actually, because everyone's kind of spread out, and Zlate's walking out. Like Elena is working somewhere on the other side of the house. Olivia's always playing. Like now she's chatting to friends and playing the games and stuff. But yeah, I would love just to go back to normal life. See you guys. I want to come. I want to come over and hang out with you.
I know. I really want that as well. That would be great. We missed
do it tonight.
Let's do it,
just
Sasha.
I still got the door.
Sasha, hold on. I'm gonna show you a gift that I got for you.
Oh, the Vienniki.
Oh wow, a virtual gift.
So we like Terra, me, Sasha, Max, and Peter, Gleb. Specifically, us 3 households, we live really, really close. Like Peter and Max, we can walk there in 4 minutes. Gleb, this is
you know what it is?
Yeah, it's
an oak. It's an oak. How do you call the Vienniki? How would you say it?
It's a guys, for people that don't know, it's a big branch that you get hit when you're in the sauna.
In the sauna, it gets. Yeah, and also I got you, Sasha. I got you a little hat, because when you're in the sauna, maybe a lot of people don't know this, but when you're in the sauna, the steam is so hot that you have to close your ears and your hair, so you just have to like wear one of those natural wool hats.
I cannot wait,
That's
Sasha,
right.
posting some stories.
I've got like 5 of those hats, but you can never have enough. There's my bad boy over there. It looks like a little tucked away house.
It looks
green.
awesome.
Is it covered in something?
Yeah.
Or did you cover it with
greenery, so it feels like you walk into like a little.
It's like a little hobbit hole. A little hobbit hole.
Amazing.
You can sweat out.
Well, I'm ready for it.
Yeah, let's get to.
Say like during
Go
the
ahead.
coronavirus, you have to like sweat a lot to get rid of all the everything.
Yeah, that's what I was saying too.
See,
We should invite Terra too.
I know. I would love. We have a sauna here as well, but it's not as cool as the Hobbit House.
That's so nice.
Which type do you have?
Steam.
Nice.
It's not. It's in the shower, so you can have it's like a combo. It's like you can have a shower or you can have
steam, huh?
Yeah, it's really nice. But enough about me. Let's talk about you guys. I know that there's a lot of people that want to know kind of like more. Oh my gosh, there's a fly, and I'm about to.
I thought you just had like a twitch.
I thought you were like giving it sass, but
it like landed on my lash. I was like, no, you will not be sitting there. So there's a lot of things that I know that other people want to know about you that maybe they don't know about you, and I want to ask each one of you just random questions.
Okay.
Are y'all up for it?
Yes.
Even if I know it, just act like you don't know that I know it, Sasha. Okay, and Sasha, I'm not going to pinpoint this just because, I was your partner, but I don't have to necessarily like be your answer. Although I know you're going to feel pressured. You're going to feel pressured.
Who was your favorite dance in the Stars Park?
No, I just want honesty. All right. I'm getting down to the realness here. Okay, so what is everyone's favorite style of dance? I'm sure everyone asks all of y'all that all the time.
Gleb,
I got an idea. Can we answer for each other? Because we've known each other for so long. We've done 6-8 tours together. And I feel like I know exactly what Sasha's favorite dance is, and I think it's jive. And Emma will probably agree with me. Because every time they have this banging jive on tour, everyone loves it. It's always like so awesome.
Their jives are always great.
Doing jive.
I feel like I know what yours
is.
I feel like yours. I know what Gleb. I've known you for so long, but still, I'm thinking, God, I don't know what yours is. But Gleb's is gonna, and I think I got this right. I think at least one of the top 2 is Argentine tango. Am I right?
Yes.
Yes.
What about
100%.
Sasha? What's Emma's?
Really good at Argentine tango.
100%.
Sasha, what's Emma's?
She loves rumba.
Yeah, I like rumba.
So was everyone correct?
Everyone was correct.
Everyone was correct. Why should ever dances rumba with you, Sash?
No,
she always dances rumba with Keo, Val,
dang.
me.
Yeah, he never wants to do rumba. I've asked him lots of times, but he doesn't. He likes
next door, Sash.
Next
door.
I'm too tall for him. Jive is okay.
No.
Yeah,
not at all. If I can do the rumba with him, you can do the rumba with him.
Yeah, because we're the same height.
No, but I'm just saying there's like a drastic adventure there. Okay, so
your rumba was insane. Do you remember your rumba? Oh,
I sadly do. I think that was my last night. Let's not talk about it.
Oh, sorry,
Sorry. Okay, so what is each one of you? Let me see. Okay, so Gleb, I like Gleb's idea. So let's keep going with this. All right. What has been your binge show that you've been watching during quarantine?
Oh my God, Gleb, I used to know yours. I am thinking that maybe Gleb, I don't know if he would have watched Ozark, but I know he watched Vikings on
tour.
And I feel like there's another one, like not Mindhunter or Criminal. There's another one that's there's a criminally one that you really like too, and I can't remember what it is. But you'll go, that's what it was. I feel like you talk about TV shows a lot. Oh, there was a Russian one that you were watching on your phone.
Yes, I watched the Russian one. Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, people were talking about Tiger King, so I watched that. Yeah, we'll talk about it later. Then I watched Money Heist. I really liked the first 2 seasons, and I started watching season 3. But the problem is that the shows that I like, my wife not always supports that. Like, she's like, I don't want to watch Vikings. You know what I mean? I want to watch some romantic whatever. So yeah, I've been just.
We always watch. We watched a good one last time. No, we didn't.
No, that movie wasn't great. Oh, Zlata! Hey, oh my gosh, so trendy. Zlata!
Look.
Zlata! Zlata! Wave!
Hi. So big!
I put an earphone in her ear.
Oh,
say hi.
Oh, hi!
Zlata!
She's like,
Okay.
I'm out.
Go.
Or I'm here.
Go.
Oh, she has like a princess dress on.
She's got like a cute little pam top knot. You're so cute. Bye, Zlata. Oh my god.
She's left. Yeah. She's so naughty. Oh my god. I'm sorry, guys. We talk about TV shows. There's my older daughter, Olivia.
This is my favorite little girl. You're not even that little anymore, Livichka. She's grown so much.
She's not little anymore.
Last time I saw her, she was shorter than me, and I don't think she is anymore.
No, she's not. She's like up my shoulder right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's go back to the TV shows. I'm sorry, guys. I was just like interrupted the whole thing.
No, family time is even better.
Yeah.
Who cares about TV shows?
Sasha, what's your TV show?
Yeah, what do you binge watch?
Well, us guys.
Emma, yeah. Or Gleb, do you know this answer?
Okay, so I know Emma watched Bachelor.
Yeah.
Have you seen the new one?
Of course.
No, because the new Bachelor with Peter the pilot, yeah, but then the new Bachelor, where's Ruby? Oh, she's on the barbecue. That's so weird. But then the new Bachelor, the one that got cancelled, or not cancelled, it's got postponed. You know, the one with Claire Crawley?
Right.
I guess it's not being. But I love Peaky Blinders, which is a British TV show.
Peaky Blinders, but like, did you guys watch the morning show or something?
No, but I got the Apple app for that, the Apple TV Plus or whatever, because I wanted to watch that, and I never ended up doing it. Is it good? Did you watch it?
No, I just heard it's really good.
I really want to watch
Love Island Australia is pretty good.
We just binge watched 30 episodes of Love Island Australia, and it is the trashiest trash, but like.
Oh my gosh!
It sounds like the Australian version of Bachelor.
Is it even worse than the UK show?
Well, okay, so the UK show is the one we're going to watch next, because I have to admit I haven't watched it, but it's probably on a par, Gleb, because you know how English people are super common, and like, I mean, I love my peeps, but we can be like rough as mud. Right. Aussies are the same in that sense. So it was so entertaining. So we're going to watch the English one. We also watched Ozark season 3, and that was even better than season 1 and 2.
I'm currently binge watching. That's so fun.
Oh, love a good binge watch. We watched Tiger King too, but we weren't like super enthralled. I kind of like lost steam. But Don't F with Cats. Have you seen that?
No.
Don't F with Cats.
Yeah.
It looks like it would give me nightmares. So I am staying away from that.
It's just like 3 episodes. I think they're like an hour long. Like, I watched one of them in the bath, and I was like glued to the TV, glued to the screen. It was basically like just home FYI by these people. Sorry.
We had an early morning. We had some.
Don't talk to me about early mornings, mister.
What time did you get up?
What time did I go to sleep? I have my daughter is 5 weeks old. Gleb knows this world. Yeah.
Okay. Do you make it through the?
I do, Sasha. I do.
One day y'all will know this world, and then you'll be like, oh, this is what they were talking about. Okay, so if all of y'all, I guess, what are your? I'm just gonna like. Okay, so I have 2 really interesting things. Like I'm trying to switch around these questions to where y'all can answer them together, because I find that to be very interesting on how much you know about each other.
Yeah.
Now, without revealing the answer immediately, each one of you, Emma, you can answer for Gleb, Sasha, answer for Emma, and Gleb, answer for Sasha. What was your favorite season of Dancing with the Stars?
Okay. I feel like I just got one that came up for Gleb.
Lauren and Elena. No, I know Gleb's easy.
No, I know Gleb's. I know Gleb's. Okay, so I'm not like hard. Can I answer?
In and out.
Yeah, let's answer.
I don't think it, like, in terms of like hard. What are you laughing?
No, Terra and I haven't.
I think that his is going to be Jana, because he made some very memorable, very, very memorable dances. She was one of his best dancers. They went to the final. Nobody remembers that he tripped in his freestyle.
That was embarrassing. Oh my gosh.
Super good. But I think people remember that a lot, and that was kind of like the a really good season for you.
It was
That's
great.
true.
I remember the
agree.
shower scene. It was amazing. I mean, the shower dance routine. I don't even know what routine it was. I just know there was a shower involved.
That was an Argentine tango, yeah.
And it started on a bed, and it literally went like every.
That was your favorite dance, so that's kind of awesome. Anyways, okay, before you answer yes, that's correct or incorrect, what about the rest of you? Like, Gleb, what do you think?
Well, I think Sasha's maybe Allie the last season, Sasha. Just because you made the final, and also you had some great like she was a great dancer. Like, it was great working with her, and I feel like you did a awesome job like choreographing, and you could actually not like dumb it down for your celebrity just because she couldn't do anything, but like you can actually work in your full potential. You know what I mean? Like that, it's in my opinion. Like,
I'm sitting right here.
No, it's really tough. Like, and I say this all the time. Like, Terra we had a lot of fun, and I always bring Terra up. Like, you know, it's hard because everyone I've stayed really, really close with. When I speak to like T, I always text you randomly.
Random.
I'm like, I speak with Ali, I speak with Simone, like I speak with Tanya. Messages me like on a weekly basis.
He still has access to Tanya's Instagram. He's still kind of like half.
No,
do you not anymore?
But yeah, Tanya Harding, like she didn't know like how to even. I started her page and ran her page during the season. Like, you build such a bond. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So that still didn't answer the actual question just yet. But before you do, what season do you think of? I mean, I think everybody knows Emma's favorite season, but what season do you think was Emma's favorite season? If you have to think about it.
Oh, me.
Crazy.
Yeah, I know. He doesn't know you're talking to him. I'm like, that's
probably Red Foos. No, Rashad. She won. She took home the mirror ball. But again, like, you know, like even last season, James is like family to us. Like, it's hard. It's really hard to say because, like, most of her partners, you know, were so incredible, and you made like such good friends. So it's hard to say like a favorite because it's usually the current season is your favorite, then the next one is your favorite, then it's the next.
Yeah, but after you won, you have
like that really sticks with you.
Like when you win, I'm sorry, but when you win, it's like that. It means so much to you that
Gleb,
you're like,
we don't know.
Yeah. Sorry.
Not yet.
So was everyone correct? Is that? I mean, okay. So Sasha's favorite.
Was that correct, Sasha?
You were close. Yeah, it was between Ali and...
This is what I was talking about. Don't be PC about it. You made it to the finals. Let's be real. You made it to the finals.
We were in the semis.
And finals is like the next
level. Terra, we had an amazing dance-off, salsa dance-off. Remember that? It was awesome. I just recently watched it. It was great.
Like Gleb brought up the season.
Yeah, the team dance.
And that move that he came out and is just
we love that one at the very start.
It was awesome. Do you remember that?
Yes.
It was a Team Future.
Team Future.
And we totally sucked.
We found some.
Emma,
Okay.
next time in the team dance, we should do the masks in the back like this.
Perfect. Yeah, I like it. I'm into it.
Oh, God.
Okay, y'all. We only have a few more minutes. I'm gonna do this last part where we're gonna do speed questions.
Okay.
And basically, we're going to see who can answer. And I just want you to answer whatever's on the top of your head, like as fast as you can, all that jazz. And we'll do one person at a time. Does anybody? And the person that wants to go first will get a 5-second advantage because everybody else will hear the questions. So my question to you is,
Who's going first?
who wants to go first?
Emma, go first.
Okay, I'll go first.
She sounds so excited.
No, I'm like,
God damn it,
5
babe.
second advantage.
Tara's been up all night doing these questions.
So what is it? Do I have to answer as many as possible?
No, so it's 10 questions. You're going to answer all of them, but whoever answers them the fastest is the winner.
Okay.
The Cameo Cares winner.
Cameo Cares winner. I'm not going to win, but let's do it.
Okay,
What prize do we get?
the title, Cameo Cares winner.
That's pretty
I'll
good.
pat you on the back when I can actually touch again. All right. Okay, so here we go. Are you
Okay.
ready, Emma?
Yes, I'm ready.
Close our ears, Gleb.
No, you can hear. That's why I said she gets a 5-second. And here we go. Waffles or pancakes?
Pancakes.
Pool or open water?
Pool.
Tango or salsa?
Tango.
Favorite city you've been to on tour?
Chicago.
Favorite city you've been to?
Ooh, Vancouver.
Last song you listened to?
Glimpses. That's cool.
Favorite TikTok dance move?
This.
If you weren't in quarantine, where would you be right now?
Probably in Sydney.
What do you miss most about life before COVID-19?
The restaurant, sushi.
If you could have one celebrity join you permanently in quarantine, who would it be?
You, Terra Jole.
And you did it. And you did 51 seconds. And you get a 5-second advantage.
Okay, good.
Wow,
Okay, that's
Sasha,
it.
go. Sasha's next.
All right. Sasha, I'm forfeiting Sasha. Okay. Wait, I have to wait for my little timer to hit it. Okay, waffles or pancakes?
Pancakes.
Pool or open water?
Pool.
Tango or salsa?
Salsa.
Favorite city you've been to on tour?
New York.
Favorite city you've been to?
New York.
Last song you listened to?
Girls just want to have fun.
That's not true.
Girls just want to have fun. Favorite TikTok dance move?
I'm not on TikTok, but this thing.
There's lots of this thing.
If you weren't in quarantine, where would you be right now?
Sydney.
What do you miss most about life before COVID-19?
Home Depot.
You still go to still go
If you
to
could have one celebrity join you in quarantine permanently, who would it be?
George Clooney.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Okay, so just so you know, you were so close. You hit 53 seconds. So close. Sorry. All right, Gleb, 51.
Yes.
And she gets a 5-second advantage.
Oh, wow.
The 5-second advantage is bullshit.
But she had never heard the questions. You already were sitting there thinking, like, oh, yes.
Oh, I
waffles.
wasn't. 5 seconds.
Waffles or pancakes?
Okay.
And you
So
started laughing at one. Okay, go.
Okay. Y'all could be a tie if you wish.
What Gleb's gonna get this?
All right, Gleb, are you ready?
I am ready. Let's do it.
Okay. Hold on. I need to wait for my timer. Okay. Waffles or pancakes?
Pancakes.
Pool or open water?
Pool.
Tango or salsa?
Salsa.
Favorite city you've been to on tour?
Boston.
Favorite city you've been to?
Moscow.
Last song you listened to?
Baby Shark.
Favorite TikTok dance move?
This one.
If you weren't in quarantine right now, where would you be?
Home.
What do you miss most about life before COVID-19?
Friends.
If you could have one celebrity join you permanently in quarantine, who would it be?
Brad Pitt.
Oh my gosh, 48 seconds.
48 seconds.
How
This
slow
guy-
is that going?
Was it like it was a delay on their video? Like sometimes you have a little delay that your timer just goes ticking,
Just
clicking
keep
too
on going.
too slow.
Well, I will say 48 seconds, but then I gave the 5-second advantage to Emma, so that still makes Emma the winner. 'Cause she had 51 seconds.
Yay!
You're the Cameo Cares winner.
We're all gonna come when quarantine's over. We're all gonna come over to our house and we'll do like Russian food and sauna.
Yes.
And have a
You can
party.
text
God.
the winning prize check to Emma.
Yeah, just text me.
All right, guys, that's all we have
I
for
can't
today.
Thank you, Terra.
Thank you guys for being
Thank
part
you,
of this.
Terra. We
Thank
love
you.
It's
you.
been very special, and it's all for Cameo. And
Hey,
we are
can
doing
we
this.
just congratulate you two for becoming a mother again.
Wow, yay!
Congratulations. That's
Thank
insane.
you. That's the.
I miss
the
you
last
guys.
I
Stay
heard.
healthy and safe. Okay, we gotta catch up as soon as this whole thing is over.
Yes.
I really
Wow.
need some time with you.
Yeah.
Don't forget,
I know.
all of the proceeds from this meeting are donated to COVID-19 Cameo Cares, and it's all for a good cause. Thank y'all so much for being a part of that
Make sure
today.
you
Hey,
give
plug-
Yay.
Hey, Paula.
Hey,
Say
Paula.
we're live.
We are live.
That is
Live on
good
Cameo
versus dead. So, hello to all my friends out there that are watching. Thank y'all so much. I so love and appreciate every time that I get to communicate with y'all, meaning my friends out there. Because
today's
I
for
can't
such a
thank you
special
enough.
cause.
Huh?
And today's for such a special cause.
I know that is just wonderful. I started the Bag Lady Foundation in 2012, and I said, Lord, if I ever make it, I want to find a way to help other women and their children. And so I've done that, and hopefully, the Bag Lady is going to be working on something, Eddie, to help the people out there that are food deficient.
Well, it's so important right now, Paula, and we've loved having you on Cameo for the past, it's been a month now almost, maybe 2 months?
About a month.
And
I have enjoyed doing it. Huh?
We're raising money today. We were raising
Yay!
the day before. I just found out we've raised almost $500,000, which is incredible.
No. In what period of time, Arthur?
2 days. So for every Cameo that's booked, yesterday, Thursday, and today, 100% of proceeds are going to No Kid Hungry, Restaurant Employee Foundation, Music Cares, and Actors Fund. So we're doing cameos, we're having fun, and we're doing it for a great cause. And
that is so great, Arthur. I mean, $500,000 in 2 days. That's wonderful and so needed. So needed.
Well, Paula,
I wish I could go out and feed everybody, but of course, I'm quarantined here at the house.
So what are you making for us today?
I am going to share with y'all my grandmother Paul's chicken and dumplings. And I understand we're just together for 30 minutes. Is that right, kids? Just 30 minutes?
So, yeah.
30.
Okay. Well, I can't do chicken and dumplings from start to finish in 30 minutes. So I've already boiled my chicken, and I have right here on a tray, y'all. The most important thing to chicken and dumplings is your stock. If you have a good, rich stock, you're going to have some good chicken and dumplings. So, all right, I got to scoot over here, see if I can see.
So you got to do homemade.
Eddie, is this on you? Eddie, you're going to have to help me because I want to turn it on.
Okay.
And Paula, while you're cooking that, we made some sweet tea because I always see you drink
Oh, good.
tea.
I just want it to get hot.
And we might spike our tea with bourbon, though. Is that okay?
Ooh, that sounds so not good. So how much? All right, so you made that one picture, Lindsay?
Yeah, we just made one picture today.
How much sugar did you put in that picture?
Probably not enough.
Okay.
We're in the north here. We don't really know how to do this. I just did my best.
So you don't know how much sugar you put in it?
Well, I put in some honey because we're just working with what we have here. She's like, no.
Okay.
Oh, good.
Okay, so the first thing I'll teach you to make when you come to Savannah is sweet tea.
Perfect. Okay. We need that.
Because us Southerners, we love our tea sweet.
Yes.
But of course, since I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, I no longer drink sweet tea. I have to drink the unsweet. But
so you do unsweetened now?
Yes, for me personally. Yeah. For me personally. Because we drink so much tea down here. And so I thought, well, that's one way I can cut back on the sugar. But so anyway, getting back to my grandmother's recipe, and I'm going to tell y'all why I'm sharing this particular recipe with you today. All right, what are you doing, Lindsay?
Just a dash.
Don't follow. We're here for
that is bourbon. Is that bourbon? Well, let me ask you this. What do you? I can't see it.
This is Bullet. Do you have a favorite bourbon or favorite whiskey?
You know, honey, I don't drink.
That's okay. I
love a margarita, but I never really acquired a taste for alcohol. But if I'm hot and thirsty, now I can chug a lug of ice cold beer.
Oh, there you go. That sounds refreshing.
An ice cold beer, but that may be once every 2 years.
All right, so back to your chicken and dumplings.
Yes, back to the chicken and dumplings. And I'm going to tell y'all why I chose this recipe to share with you, because it means so much to my heart. I lost my father when he was 40 years old, and I was just 19. And I adored him. I just adored him. As long as a girl's got her daddy, you feel very secure and safe. And I knew as long as my daddy was living, that nobody could ever hurt me. And it was kind of a sudden, it was unexpected death. And his very favorite meal in the whole world was chicken and dumplings. And I kind of went off the track after my daddy died. I was not able to really think straight. And I was 19. I was still a teenager. A married teenager, let me add, which that's a bad combination right there. But anyway, after my daddy died, I asked my grandmother, Paul, would you please teach me how to make those chicken and dumplings that my daddy loves? And it was like I wanted to know how to do it just in case this was a dream I was having. Mm-hmm. So that was the first dish I remember my grandmother saying, okay, this is how we're going to do it. So like I said, this is very special because I knew it was my daddy's favorite. Mm-hmm. So like I said, the most important part is getting that good, rich stock. And you can't get that with the cartoned chicken broth or anything like that. So I put a whole chicken in my stock pot back here, and I covered it really good with water. I wish I could touch it, but I can't.
And you do a whole chicken?
Yes, and I leave it whole. I leave it whole because to me it's just easier to pick if I start with a whole chicken. And this is what I seasoned my pot with. I actually took this out of the pot: celery, carrots, onions, and 2 bay leaves. Okay. And salt and pepper.
Simple.
And it's so simple. This is not a tricky dish, but you want to make sure your chicken really comes through. So I don't know if y'all are familiar with these type of bases, but this is like a wet chicken bouillon cube, only much, much richer. They have made this from roasting the bones of chickens. And so I put about a tablespoon of this in my water just to assure that chicken flavor came through. And you can find these at the grocery store on your soup aisle. Mm-hmm. And if you ever use wet bases, you'll never go back to the little cubes again.
It's like a little flavor booster. Gives you a head start.
It's a big flavor booster. And it comes in beef, chicken, vegetables. I don't have any luck finding seafood base in the grocery stores, but I can get that through our restaurants. So I learned a couple of weeks ago when I made chicken and dumplings, I have a line of small appliances. I don't know if y'all know that, but I have a fabulous air fryer that I go on Shop HQ with, and I've got a pressure cooker. Oh, I can't remember what all I got. A mixer. I mean, I love small appliances, and I love taking ideas and making them better. So that's what I'm doing with all my appliances.
What's your line called, Paula?
Huh?
What's your line called?
Paula Deen.
Okay.
That's a quinky dink, ain't it? All right. So I found when I made chicken and dumplings a couple of weeks ago that I was short on time. So I cooked my chicken on top of the stove just like I ordinarily would. And I said, well, since I'm so short of time, I'm going to drop my dumplings down into my pressure cooker, and I can cook those in 5 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So this pressure cooker is so strong. That water's just a boiling. And, you know, my mother, God rest her soul, she had a pressure cooker on her stove at all times. But it was
Why do you use a pressure cooker, Paula?
Because you can cook a wonderful pot roast in 45 minutes, where you're talking about 3 or 4 hours on top of the stove. I can make mashed potatoes in about 7 minutes.
Wow.
So I just love it. But I was always so scared of my mother's because it had the little thing on top and it jingled. And if you didn't put that lid on right, it could blow your ceiling up.
The first
Not
time I
to
used
mention
one,
your
yeah.
face.
I was pretty scared of it too.
Your face. Yes. I was scared to death. And when I would use my mother's, I wouldn't let my sons in the kitchen while I was using the crock pot. That's how I meant the pressure cooker. That's how scared I was of it. But my pressure cooker, you cannot blow it up. You don't have to worry.
That's
it's so safe. Yes. All right. So grandma taught me how to make dumplings out of plain flour, salt, and ice water. And when I say ice water, I mean really ice water. And you just work that flour and add a little ice water at the time. Now, in 1966, when my grandmother taught me how to make these dumplings, they did not have, what did I do with the paper it came in? The little sleeve, what did I do with it?
And Paula, when you say plain flour, I just learned about lily white flour. What's all that about? Because that's something we don't have up here.
It's white lily. It's just
white lily. Yeah.
But if you're making a cake, you want it to rise. If you're making southern dumplings, you don't want it to rise. So you would use plain flour for that. But back when grandmother taught me how to make these, they didn't have this on the market.
Okay.
And this is Mary Hill dumplings. There's 2 name brands out there. And so when I saw this, I said, and this has been years, I said, I'm going to try that. And oh my goodness, because when I made my grandmother's dumplings, it would take me almost an hour to get that to roll out and thin enough. And then you have to let them dry. So I don't do the old timey rolling anymore. I think if y'all try this, you're going to love that product. So
They're
my
just as
water,
good, Paula?
oh my gosh, yes. And see what the dumplings look like.
Oh, wow.
See how thin they are? And they come out tough. Now I'm dropping this in the boiling water.
And tough is a good thing here, right?
Huh? Tough
is
yes.
a good thing. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
You just want to be able to, turn your fork sideways and cut it with your fork.
And how's a dumpling different than, so that looks almost like lasagna sheets.
It does, doesn't it? Well, I understand that up north, y'all are more partial to drop dumplings.
Yeah, my mom makes those big fluffy cloud ones.
Yeah, no, we don't do that. We don't do that in the South. We make the old timey. Eddie, if you would help me with this, I want to get the lid on it as quick as I can, so it can go under pressure. And I'm going to set it for about 6 or 7 minutes, y'all. And these dumplings are going to be ready. And then I didn't put all my stock in here. I still got some stock back there. So I will pour this back into my stock pot.
Ah, okay.
And because I like a lot of liquid for my dumplings. I don't like them to be dried out. So hopefully
Make me hungry.
Hopefully I can get these ready before y'all have to leave.
We can have a couple extra minutes too, Paula. So
okay,
no
good. Thank you, Arthur. So there we go.
It's funny you mentioned that this was
yeah.
the one dish because my dad makes famous hot fudge. My sister had a dream that he was on his deathbed, and she said, "But what about the hot fudge recipe?"
No.
That looks good, Paula.
That looks amazing.
Thank you. So did he share the recipe with somebody?
He has shared it with one person, and it wasn't either of his daughters. So neither of us have it. But one of my cousins has it. So.
Good. Well, it's so important. If you'll set it on about 7 minutes, Eddie, it's so important that you young people not let your elder family members take recipes to the grave, because one day you will be sorry. You will be sad that you didn't go get it. So that's important. Make sure you do it. Learn everything you can from your mother, your grandmother, your aunts, your best friend.
That's such a great.
Paula.
Yeah.
So for all of our new employees at Cameo, we do something called what is your death row meal? And on the first day, they introduce themselves to the company, and they get to share in front of 137 people in 137 different offices on Zoom what their death row meal is.
Goodness.
What is Paula Deen's death row meal?
Probably about a mile-long buffet.
Okay.
It would take me a long time to eat. I'd stretch it out as long as I could. But I tell you what, I would definitely be digging into the meat and the potatoes. I love meat and potatoes, and of course, good bread. Good.
And what kind of meat is that?
Well, I guess I'd have to say steak.
Steak.
Or a good pot roast. Just beef. There's nothing better than a great hamburger.
Oh my gosh, yes.
As long as it's got meat in it. Don't give me no veggie burger.
Paula, I remember watching you on Food Network. Probably 10 years ago. You were my absolute favorite. And one time you made a hamburger with Krispy Kreme donuts before it was popular. And I remember seeing KFC then doing that with chicken sandwiches. I was like, Paula Deen started this. She was the first person to put meat in the middle of a donut, and I haven't had it yet, and I can't wait.
That is so funny that you say that, because I really didn't think anything of it. I was a local singer and friend of mine was doing my show with me that day, and I was making hamburgers for her. And for some reason, I had donuts because I was supposed to come up with a recipe for donuts. And a friend of mine from Florida had just, like the week before, sent me a recipe for Krispy Kreme bread pudding. Ooh. So I said, "Oh, thank you, Jim. You saved me," because I didn't know what kind of recipe I was going to come up with using Krispy Kreme donuts. They're so good. I eat those plain, honey. The only thing I put in is my lips. That's it. So, and they had my hamburger buns. The kitchen team did. They had my hamburger buns up there on the counter waiting for me to put that hamburger together. And I felt them. And I looked at Kim, my friend, and I said, "Those buns are as hard as my arteries, and I can't stand a hard bun." So I reached up there and felt the donuts. I said, "Oh, Kim, these donuts are fresh. So let's just fix our hamburger on those."
That was your light bulb moment.
Yeah, well, it was just instinct. It was there. And it was so incredibly delicious. I asked the camera if they would stop rolling, because my husband was in our bedroom asleep. And, he's got crazy hours. He's a harbor pilot here in town, so he just works goofy hours. And I said, "Michael, wake up. You have got to taste this hamburger on these donuts. It's incredible." And, of course, I got hung up by my toenails. For
Did he think he was waking up from a nightmare or a dream?
No, I'm talking about the general public out there. There's always one or two people that, can say the nastiest things. And of course, I had sacrificed heritage of a hamburger with donuts. But let me tell you, I knew it was a winner when I heard one of the state fairs was going to be serving Krispy Kreme hamburgers. I said, "Okay."
Now I've made it.
Now I have made it. And I've seen them fairly often now. But they're good, honey. But Only one serving per lifetime.
There you go.
Yeah.
And I've had my serving. I've had my serving.
Paul, you've helped transform the way people eat. You're one of the pioneers in the Food Network.
Oh,
You helped inspire me. I know you've inspired so many people. That's quite the footprint that you've left on this country.
Well, thank you, Arthur. You're so sweet. But it's my way of thinking that mother's cooking and grandmother's cooking will never go out of style.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't care what region in the country you lived, in Chicago or somewhere, and you had your mother doing home cooking, right? Didn't matter really where you were from, although I have to say the South was really, 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 really good.
Yeah. So when your kids come over to eat, what's the one thing they ask you to make over and over and over? Do they have a favorite of yours?
Yes, they do. Bobby loves my goulash, and you talking about a simple but comforting dish. And I taught him how to make it. In fact, it's in my cookbooks under Bobby's goulash. And Jamie, he could stand up here all day and eat my fried pork chops.
Oh, yum. That sounds good.
Those are simple, down-home cooking, delicious, calorie-inducing, heart attack-inducing
Yes,
things.
yes. And I love them.
And they're good.
Love a pork chop. But
and are you going to have another grandbaby soon?
Jamie and Brooke, my oldest son and his wife, just gave birth a week ago yesterday to another little boy. They've got 3 boys now. And Bobby and his wife gave birth to triplets.
Oh my goodness.
This coming October will be 2 years now.
Oh,
and
wow.
Of course, between Michael and me, our 11th grandchild is due August the 1st. So out of 11 grandchildren, we have 8 boys and 3 girls.
Wow. That's so fun. How's quarantine going with triplet 2-year-old?
You know, their mother is a war mother. You know, she's amazing when it comes to taking care of those children. And they spent 4 months in the intensive care unit.
Oh, wow.
I mean, we were praying that we would get all 3 of them home because they were born at 26 weeks.
Oh, wow, yeah.
You know, and they're supposed to hatch at 40 weeks. So they were very critical. And of course, they have to be watched and monitored. I think they have like 5 doctors right now. But they have to be kept very safe and monitored because they started out with critical lung condition and heart. But they are doing beautifully. They are so beautiful, and they are walking around jabbering, and I can't, she won't let me. Cloud and Bobby will not let me come inside, and I understand that. I understand that. I wouldn't ask them to let me in for nothing, but I do go over at their window and hold the babies up, and we kiss each other through the glass.
That's so sweet. You got to do what you can right now, you know?
Yes.
I bet it's hard not to hug your grandbabies, but at least you can go knock on the window.
And we've got a grandson, Henry, Henry is 8 now, Michael. Oh my gosh, and he's the sweetest thing. He'll pick up the phone and call us and say, I hope you don't get the virus. Oh, just so sweet. But let me see if I can name them all. Let's see. Sully, Henry, John, Bennett, Davis, Jack, Maddie, Amelia, Olivia, and Linton. Did I get all 11? Well, the 11th one, I got 10, I think. The one that's due in August doesn't have a name. But between Michael and me, when I married him, he had a son and a daughter, and which just thrilled me because I had 2 boys. So I was so happy to have a girl pulled into the mixture. So
So Paula, we've got the dumplings in.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. I made Eddie jump. All right, can I?
Oh,
okay.
Jesus.
So now we're having to release that steam. Whoa, I put a lot of liquid in there, so it's juicy.
Well, it's good broth.
Yes. Okay, so I might.
And that's the scary part, but it's perfectly safe.
Yes. I just put a lot of liquid in there. So it's just because of the high liquid that it's wanting to spew out of the pressure valve. But it's all right. And it doesn't take but a minute for it to depressurize. So this one, my pressure cooker won't let you open it until it's completely depressurized. So that's great.
This seems like an easy quarantine meal.
Yeah.
Michael went to Albany and got my Aunt Peggy and brought her over here. 3 weeks? Is it 3 weeks from tomorrow, from Monday, Michael? And in Albany, they've been hit pretty hard with this virus. So my Aunt Peggy is 90 years old. So I just knew that we had to get her out of there. And so she's here in quarantine, and she heard that I was making chicken and dumplings in here, and they said she got real excited.
I would be too.
When they told her.
You gonna make me that tonight?
Why not?
Listen, you can do it so easily if you go get those frozen dumplings. You can do it so quick, honey. Now, I've got some fresh parsley here, and I'm just going to chop that up, give it a rough chop, and I'm going to put that in my pot, the very last thing. But I've got my chicken here that I picked. That was a big old chicken. He probably weighed about 5 pounds. Yeah.
Wow. Got a lot of meat off.
And now my mama and grandmama, when they made chicken and dumplings, they cut the chicken up and left the bones in them because we're all bone knowers. I come from a group of bone knowers. And my grandmother and grandfather was in the restaurant business, and my grandmother, she was really a gourmet cook. She did it all. All right, so our dumplings are ready. I wish you could see them.
Well, Paula, we've got a fan question.
Eddie?
Somebody's asking where they can find this recipe.
I think it's in my very first book, Arthur. But I know it is in Kitchen Classics, the Lady and Sons Kitchen Classics.
Okay.
Now, I did leave the bones to the wing on because people like to gnaw on that wing bone. But look at that. That was a big old chicken.
Oh man, that looks so good.
He made a lot of chicken.
That is comfort food right
so
there.
Here comes the parsley. And now after you take your chicken out of your pot, you'll want to check your seasoning and make sure that you've got your pot seasoned just right. And I had to add some more salt and pepper. Look at that dumpling. Look at that dumpling. I can't
It's amazing. It's not even getting in there so slowly.
Look. Oh, I'm going to get him. He is not getting away, honey.
And Paula, are you a kosher salt or fine salts? Do you have
like kosher? I like kosher, and I like really big, coarse black pepper.
Yeah, lots of that.
All right, so I hate that I've got to eat without y'all.
Oh, me too.
But I'm going to taste it for you. You know, I know the country is turned upside down with this virus, but now, y'all, it's a great time to get in your kitchen. And if you're quarantined with your children or your grandchildren, you know, bring them in the kitchen and and make things that you thought, well, I'll get to it one day. I'll make that one day. I'll try that recipe one day. So now is a great time to get in there and share your love of the kitchen with the people that you love, because some of my favorite memories of mine personally come from a kitchen. And
well, Paula,
that's just how we show our love. Yes. Shoot it, baby. Shoot it.
People are wondering, now that they're quarantined, what is the best dish they should make as a new home chef? First-time home chef.
Gosh, I don't know. Can I tell them what I'm doing, Eddie? I can't tell them that I'm doing the show. Okay, I can't tell you that I'm doing the shows. So you can't tell nobody. But I've been sharing recipes with people that hopefully, we're not going to the grocery store like we used to. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to come up with recipes that hopefully you've got everything it takes to make that dish, like cracker salad. We all have soda crackers.
Some good pantry meals.
Yes. And oh yeah, you can go to my webpage, pauladeen.com.
Yes, and your Facebook.
And Facebook, isn't that Facebook? Isn't pauladeen.com the Facebook?
No.
It's not.
It's two separate.
You've got a great YouTube channel too, Paula Deen on YouTube.
Yes. Thank you. I love that, what I'm doing over there. But I'm just trying to stay connected with everybody and just let them know that even though they feel alone, they're not alone. We're all in this together. And I really feel like that America was spiraling at one point. And then this virus showed up, and I swear I think it's going to make America stronger and smarter, and I hope kinder.
Bringing people together again.
Yes.
Yeah, and you're right. Cooking is such a good way to, keep yourself busy, keep your hands busy, share food with someone you love. Oh man.
and have some unbelievable Paula Deen chicken dumpling soup.
You wouldn't believe how good those frozen dumplings are.
Well,
they look just like my
yeah,
grandmama's.
Cheers with our
Cheers to y'all. Cheers to y'all.
Cheers. Yeah.
This country is so lucky to have smart young people like y'all going after your dreams and doing a damn good job at it.
Well, Paula, thank you so much for joining us today. If you haven't checked out Paula's cameos yet, they're unbelievable. I've personally booked a few for my parents. You might not realize that, Paula.
Oh, no, I didn't know that. Yes. I didn't know that, Arthur. I've been real surprised because the majority of them are from men.
Well, I have to tell you, Paula, in our friend circle, Arthur's known as the Paula Deen of the group because you know what he loves? Butter.
Put it on everything.
Well, after I leave y'all, I will be dropping about a half a stick of butter over there.
I'll be dropping one of my drink, Paula, so we're on the same page.
But y'all are adorable, and it's so nice to meet y'all face to face.
Yeah, it's such an honor to meet you.
Thank you.
Cool.
Did y'all have fun with my Dancing with the Stars friends?
Yes, and after this, we have some incredible panels. So Love is Blind. We have a Real Housewives of New York panel.
Wow.
We have a ton of great music tonight.
Wow.
So please continue to tune in to Cameo Cares.
And Montel Williams is
Williams?
He's going to host. I met him one time, and he is a lovely man.
He's wonderful.
A lovely man. And tell him that I enjoyed watching him the other day on Mel Robbins' show, and it was good to see that he's doing well.
Wonderful. Well, thank you again, Paula. And just a reminder, everyone, please go to cameo.com, get a cameo from Paula, get a cameo from Montel, and every cameo this weekend, 100% of proceeds are going to the fight against COVID. So thank you all so much.
Good cause. And thank you, kids, for doing it. God bless y'all. And I always send y'all love and best dishes.
Yeah, you too. We'll see you in Savannah.
Hey, yay!
What's up, Brian? I hear that you're getting married. Congratulations. Join the town, Lindsay.
You should start your day in a garbage way with eggs, bacon, and... Hey, Victoria, how are you? This is now Jim O'Hare. Yes, the guy who played Jerry Gergich in Parks and Recreation. And your mom didn't tell me that you are truly graduating from high school and that you are the valedictorian. That is amazing! Really amazing. And I just want to say congratulations. And that you're heading to UCLA School of Engineering. Okay, that seems shockingly hard. That seems very hard. That would make, that's giving me, I'm getting anxiety just thinking about it.
Are you crying? You gotta listen. You're not even listening. Are you okay?
I don't know. Does he know Gilbert?
You may not know this, but we're kind of best friends. We're best friends for years. We play really hard games together on Thursday nights. It's been a tradition for years. We like to keep it on the down low that we're friends because they don't.
Oh. Oh.
Oh my God!
That is the fucking craziest thing goddamn ever! What?
By the way, I know my
That's what? Michael Rappaport just what? Oh my god.
And also, the guy said that so is Larry, encourages me basketball, and coconuts and Captain Fat Boys, Crispy and Tony Pumpkin, Santiago, and all his dated chickens and all the jokers. We need the best as well. Have a happy Father's Day, sir. Take care. Bye. How you're the best dad and the best husband in the world, and absolutely. By the way, congrats on retiring. That's awesome, buddy. I mean, that's what life's about. It's retiring and then enjoying the family. That being said, give your damn wife some space, okay? Like, you guys have been apart for a little bit. You've been working.
Oh my god!
Real deal, Rachel.
Happy birthday, my friend. 10x everything. Be great.
He's the real great cut on, bro. He's the real great cut on, bro. But how did you do it? It's the fucking great cut on, bro. Bro, how did you get it? Great cut on.
Who was that? That was Nick Vial! Can I download it?
Yeah.
And have a great night, Mama. I love you.
And let's rock this one, yeah, let's go!
That's good advice.
Cause I'm a son of a gun. I'm out.
Oh my god, that's really funny.
Joy for town, Lindsay.
Happy Mother's Day,
Artrell? Arterell? You got me drinking.
Hello, everyone. You're watching Cameo Cares, and you're here for the Iconic Characters panel. Montel Williams is having a little bit of technical difficulty right now, so I'll be kind of getting this started until he's absolutely ready to join. I was just telling these fellas that for me, this is a really great panel for me to be doing because I've watched all three of these people growing up, whether it be Star Trek or Ghostbusters or Batman. I've literally watched every single one of these shows, so this is very exciting. And I might be a little bit because I'm kind of talking to these individuals both as a fan and as the potential host here. But thank you guys for joining us for a good cause today.
Sure. Happy to be here.
Yeah, glad to be here. Absolutely. And for everybody that's watching as well, you can always donate in the link below or go to cameo.com and purchase cameos where all proceeds from Cameo are going to COVID relief over the next couple days. So to get this kind of started, I'll kind of ask a general question of all of you because you've all been part of some established franchises over the last 30 years. What is it kind of, when we say iconic character, when we bring out, do you feel that? Do you feel that you guys represent these iconic characters in fandom today? And what's it like to be in that position where, whether it be through Comic-Cons or other things, people relate to these characters so much? And we can start with maybe Jonathan.
Well, I've always felt blessed to be part of this Star Trek world. And now, recently, I've been directing the new Star Trek Discovery and Star Trek Picard. So the gift that started giving 33 years ago has sort of resurfaced. And the vision of the show that has inspired so many fans to follow and come to the cons and be so loyal is really Gene Roddenberry's vision of a future in which there is there's no racism and there's no sexism and there's no hunger and there's no greed. And we keep hoping that it's going to come true. And I mean, the Shatner's show is 55 years old. So people have been hoping for this vision of the future for half a century, and we're still sticking with it.
Yeah. What's it like to revisit?
You froze. You froze
Say
up.
again, you froze up. Didn't hear that question.
Oh, I said, what was it like to revisit that character after a hiatus like that?
Oh, it was like putting on old shoes. It was great. I had directed a couple of the episodes, and Patrick was on fire. So I was a nervous wreck because I hadn't acted in about a dozen years. And Marina, who plays my wife, who plays Counselor Troy, she had just closed in a play on the West End. So she also was on fire. So I had a great fear that I was going to get buried by my buddies, but it worked out okay.
Awesome. What about you, Ernie? You're also maybe potentially revisiting a character, but have been part of the Ghostbusters franchise since the inception. What's it like to have, and especially the Ghostbusters? I was one that actually had a proton pack at one point in my life too. So what's it like to be in that position and have those fans that follow you along for however long?
Yeah, no, it's great. We're in, I think, 35th year. Winston character. When you make the movie, you don't realize that 35 years later, you'd still, fans would still love it. I love the fact that it crosses generations. Parents introduce their children, and it's great to be a part of that. And I'm very, very, very thankful. I was thinking, hearing Jonathan talk about Star Trek. I auditioned for one of the Star Treks, and in the middle of my audition, they said, "Could you just do it sexier?" And apparently, wasn't sexy enough because I didn't get the part. But I always think about that when I see the show. It's great. It's great that fans love the Ghostbusters. We just finished the new movie. I don't think it's a secret now that the guys are back, and give any more information than that. But it was pushed because of the coronavirus until next February. But it's really excited about it.
Very good. Looks like we had Montel join us.
Yes.
Montel, are you good to go?
Not yet.
No audio.
Yeah.
Hello.
Well, we'll just kind of keep the train moving until we can hear Montel. It's going. But that's awesome. Now, Kevin, what about you? You're in a little bit different position, is that your face hasn't typically been on the screen as the voice of Batman, but have been through so many different iterations of the animated series. And your your fans connect to you the same way, regardless of if you were being Christian Bale or the voice itself. What's it been like, especially kind of like becoming the Batman for so many fans?
Well, what's weird about my experience is, as you say, it was the voice, and it was a totally anonymous job for a long time, and then gradually, because of the internet, people could Google anybody, and people started recognizing me. And I live in New York, and so on the subway, people would go, aren't you Batman?" But you started as just a job, and I'm sure Ernie and Jonathan would say the same thing. It just starts as a job. You don't know how long it's going to last. You don't know how many days it's going to be. You don't know how big it's going to be. And then Batman, the animated series, became The Adventures of Batman and Robin, and that became the Justice League, and that became Batman and Beyond, and then the movies. And then suddenly you've done 28 years of this. It snowballs. And now I go to Comic-Cons and I meet people who talk about these difficult childhoods they had and how important the character was for them, as an escape, as a safe place, as a teacher. And you realize how many lives you touched, and you're just a schmangy actor. You don't see yourself as having that kind of role in people's lives. And it's amazing. It's amazing to hear those stories at the Comic-Cons.
When for, this is kind of a question for everybody, when in your careers did you just kind of figure out that, you said like there was a point for you, Kevin, where people started recognizing you on the subway, even though your face wasn't there. But for everybody else, like, when was that moment where you realized this wasn't just a character you guys were playing, but something that's kind of probably going to resonate with people for generations?
For me, I think when the movie came out in '84, it came out #1 at the box office, and there was a lot of excitement. I expected it would die off after 3-4 months, but it just kept going to the point where it was 10 years and people were still excited about it, and 15 years and 20 years. And then I'm like, my God, now it's 35 years. And I can still be on the street and somebody will yell, "Who you going to call?" or talk about a big Twinkie, and I'm sort of humbled by that, and really, so it just kind of never went away.
Now, do you answer Ghostbusters 100% of the time, or do you just let them say who you're going to call?
Well, I like to try to act like I never heard it before. Like, but I'm not sure it's convincing.
That's okay.
You're a generous man, Ernie.
I want to be surprised by it, even though I'm not. But
I had I recognize. It was after we'd been on for a couple of years, and I was going to put some mail early in the morning on the way to the studio. It was like 5 o'clock. It was dark, and I was going to the Hollywood post office just to drop some bills in the mailbox. And it was dark, and there was no one around. And I go walking across the parking lot, and I hear, "Hey, buddy, you got $1?" And I realized that this pile of junk on the side of the parking lot was a person underneath. There was a homeless guy. And I said, "No, I'm sorry. All I have is my mail." And he went, "Oh, my God, you're Kevin Conroy." And I thought, did he see my mail? Did he read my name? Is this an actor I know? Is this how bad it's going to get? I'm thinking, how does this guy know who I am? I said, "Yeah." And he says, "You're Batman." And I said, "How do you know that?" He said, "Everybody knows who's Batman." And I said, "No, everyone does not know who's Batman." He said, "Oh, come on, just say it, just say it, just say it, just say it. You know what I want you to say? I am vengeance." So I'm standing there at 5 in the morning in the dark in a parking lot in Hollywood, and I'm going, "I am vengeance." He goes, "Come on, you know the next line. I am the night." I said, "Oh, Batman." I went, "I am Batman." And you hear from the distance some guy say, "Shut up. It's 5 o'clock in the morning, Batman."
That's great. You know what? There isn't a more Batman thing than being in a dark alley at 5 a.m. So I mean, you kind of nailed it there. Jonathan, what about you? Are there any moments like that for you?
I wasn't aware of the place that Star Trek had in the popular culture until we were well into it. Also, when our show came on in '87, the audience for Next Generation was, how should I say, skeptical, because
lost his audio.
They didn't want to have a new.
Jonathan, I think you adjusted your mic when you moved your computer.
I hope not.
Oh, there you go. Now you're good.
You're back. We missed that wonderful story, Jonathan.
Oh, I was saying that when our show came on in '87, the audience was quite skeptical, to say the least. Somewhat hostile, perhaps.
Well, because you were taking the place
early on. right after the show had aired, a couple months after the show had aired, and I was in the dealer's room where they sell the action figures, the younger, thinner version of all of us. And I was standing at the table, not knowing what I was about to get into, and the action figures they had like a Geordie LaForge was $35, and they had a limited die lot Data for $50, and then Captain Picard was $75, and there was a sign at the end of the table. It said, "Buy any action figure, get Riker free."
Really?
That's a true story. So it was a bumpy start.
Yeah, so that took a little bit, but people obviously, those things are probably worth significant funds today. I think you could have gotten it for free 30 years ago. As far as
I don't know if Kevin remembers, we were doing Con in Ireland.
Yeah, of course.
I walked up to him and said, "I am the afternoon."
Isn't that Dublin Con wonderful? I love it.
And the people were amazing.
Aren't they amazing?
Really.
you guys were all at the same Dublin Con. I'm sure you guys crossed paths dozens of times.
But I think it was the first time we actually had time together. But that moment of me being the afternoon was, I think, caught him a little off guard. But I had a great time.
Is that what's your number? What are your guys' number one cons that you've been to that just kind of like blew your mind? If you all love Dublin, maybe that's the answer, and I'm taking you down that path already. But are there any others that have been like super outstanding to be a part of?
Dublin is really unique because the city is, I think it's 50% under 25. It's one of the youngest cities in Europe, and it's an internet. It's the internet back office for all the European, Microsoft, Google, all those companies have their back offices there. So it's like Seattle. It's very tech savvy. It's very young. There's a great music scene. So, you're walking down the street on the way to the Comic-Con and everyone knows who you are. They're all into animation. They're all into, contemporary culture. It's very young. And so I love the Dublin Con. It's a lot.
I do too. Great food too. Fabulous.
Hasn't that changed? When I was a kid, my family's Irish. I spent a lot of time in Ireland growing up.
What a surprise.
Yeah, really. But the food was famously bad. They had the worst food in the world. Everything was boiled beyond belief, And now I go back and it's some of the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably got a couple of Michelin star restaurants over there at this point.
Yeah.
Well, the thing that I love different cons have different personalities, and you like them.
They really do.
But that con, what really impressed me and my wife, she was there with me, was I didn't meet one unhappy person. Every single person we met there was just in the best spirits, and it just felt so welcoming. So I really, really love that kind of music.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Shifting gears a little bit, obviously as iconic characters, you've probably influenced thousands, if not tens of thousands of people to get involved in the industry as an actor or as a producer or as whatever it might be. Do you guys remember some of your early influences and the kind of people that made you say, oh, this is what I want to do, or this is the path that I want to take because of those people?
Yeah, there's always, for me, there's always been, actors, especially, who've done amazing work, and as a kid, I was always so in awe, especially the Western stars, the Gary Coopers and those guys, and it was such a big wish for me that I couldn't even bring myself to have that dream, that I might someday be able to do that. And where I find myself now, I'm just so thankful because I don't know, it took me a while to just kind of go, okay, you know what, I can do this. This is where I belong, and to have faith that would become a reality. And just so thankful. But I think early TV, especially when I was a kid, and the movies, I don't know, I'm not.
It's okay. You know, you don't have to have a specific one person or an answer.
You know,
You know, like
Gary Cooper comes to mind. I don't know
it's
why.
a cumulative thing. You know, you find something you love, you watch 1,000 of them, and then the result is a great career in this industry. So
I felt that way about Gene Hackman.
Oh God, yes.
I used to watch him, and he's one of those actors, as you know, who you'd never see him acting. You think he's the guy. You think he was the guy in conversation. You think he was the coach in Downhill Racer. And I remember thinking, what a cool job this guy's got. I never see him acting. He's in hundreds of movies.
Right.
It seemed like such a great dream. I had the same feeling you had, Ernie, of, is this something we could actually dream and then do?
The Conversation is such an incredible movie.
I know. Coppola.
Yeah, so great.
I think one of the things too.
One
of the things too about being in this industry. When I first came to Hollywood, I got this TV movie part in it, and it was starring Bette Davis. And so the scene I had with her, I mean, these people who you just grew up watching, and I did a movie called The Jazz Singer with Laurence Olivier, and just you look over the years and the people that just to get a chance to meet, but to also have a moment in the scene, or it was just, and I'm always impressed.
Hold on. I got to pick up those two names that just dropped on the floor.
Really?
Well, let's keep that going. Do you guys have anybody like that you worked with, Kevin and Jonathan, that like also gave you that type of wow moment, that memorable moment?
I went to Julia. I was very young to go to Juilliard, and it was a time. It was in '73, so my classmates were people like Robin Williams and Kelsey Grammer and Frances Conroy and Harriet Harris. I mean, it was an amazing class at Juilliard. The Robin and I ended up sharing an apartment for 2 years. We were roommates. Christopher Reeve was a year ahead of us. Mandy Patinkin was 2 years ahead of us. Kevin Kline and Patti LuPone had just recently graduated. I mean, it was sort of a golden age at Juilliard. It was an amazing time. And I was 17. I was this schmangy kid. I didn't know what I was doing. But I just knew that I had to be there. And I knew that I wanted to be there. And I got a scholarship to go. I mean, it was incredible. But I was working with John Houseman and Alan Schneider, and I mean Pierre Lefebvre learning French Mask. I mean, it was a time of just incredible, an explosion of creativity at Juilliard. It was amazing to be there then. I was so lucky.
Yeah, those are some names for sure.
Yeah,
I don't know if I can pick them all up. I'll have to listen to the recording after this for sure. But man, what a time to be there. Jonathan, how about you?
I'm speechless.
That was a tough follow up to the.
Well, I'm still back with Ernie and Laurence Olivier.
Yeah, really, the jazz singer.
How old are you?
I think we weren't going to talk about age. I think that was a thing that we had to sign before getting you guys involved.
No.
Look at him. Black don't crack.
Oh,
exactly.
Well, it's funny too, because we are blessed to be able to just people you just admire their work, and then suddenly you're on the set with them, and doing this thing, Grace and Frankie, with Jane Fonda and Lily Tomlin. I mean, they're not that much older, but it's just suddenly you look around and you kind of go, wow, this is, just even meeting you guys. I remember, just we're very blessed in that sense. So
yeah.
Well, what are you guys? You just mentioned one of the shows that what are you guys watching right now in quarantine? Or Or what are you guys watching right now? We're all socially isolated. Some of us are all binge watching probably some of your shows right now and or movies. What are you guys watching right now? Or what are the things
I'm so addicted to Netflix. I'm so addicted to Netflix. I am seeing everything on Netflix. It's unbelievable.
Everything and anything?
Everything. In any language. I mean, anything.
Yeah. You got some great shows.
Great
No,
show.
I tried. I thought this would be a time for me to review my career. And so get out some of my shows and take a look. I couldn't do it. First off, the kids didn't want to deal with it. But I just could not. It just felt so indulgent. So I never got to that. But yeah, some great shows. I saw Unorthodox.
I liked Unorthodox.
Yeah, it was very, very interesting. And there's just some great shows out there now. TV.
Have you watched The New Pope?
The movie? Or
No.
was it a miniseries?
Yeah, miniseries.
It was a miniseries. Yeah, we did watch it. Yeah, it's great. It's great.
Have you watched The Sinner?
No, I haven't seen it.
That's pretty deep.
Really? Wow.
Hello. Hope everybody's writing these down in case they haven't.
Yeah.
In case they haven't.
Mrs. Maisel, the Kaminsky,
The Kaminsky Report's brilliant.
Well, yeah, that's some great stuff.
There's a great Japanese English mystery called Duty Honor or something like that. It's a great mystery.
Oh, is it on Netflix or?
It's either Netflix or Apple. Prime. It's either Netflix or Prime.
Right.
Going on my list.
Yeah, you got a good list there. So I guess this is kind of a final. We're kind of running up on time, so unfortunately we started a little late with Montel's technical issues. Is there like one fan question that each of you get, at some of these cons that potentially some of the audience would like to maybe hear again or haven't heard before that maybe you get repeated? Like, is there one question that someone always comes up or dozens of people have come up and asked you over the last couple of years that, that you always have to answer? Like, what are those questions for each of you guys?
What is Patrick Stewart really like?
What is Patrick Stewart really like?
Hello? Hello? Jonathan?
Yep, we heard.
Hello?
Really talented.
Say it again, you froze up a bit.
Oh, we got brilliant and talented. I know that.
Oh, spectacular, brilliant, talented, generous, funny as hell, and better than ever.
Perfect. I think that makes everybody feel really good when they hear that too. You want your heroes to be obviously people that are wonderful, just like you gentlemen. Ernie, Kevin, what about you? Is there one question that you guys get?
I always get asked, what's it like to work with Mark Hamill? What's Mark Hamill like? That's a universal question because people love him. People love him. And they love the Joker. His Joker is so insane. And I always tell them he is the most generous, the most giving, the most talented guy to work with. I love him. He makes me a better actor because he gives me so much. But to be in a booth with him is a dangerous place to be because he spits all over you. He gets so into his acting that he's like, woo, Betty. And you're like going, boom, boom, boom. He's just spitting all over the place. He really gets into it.
That's
a good Corona story.
Yeah, that's why voice actors are doing their own home. They're doing their own home studios right now for sure.
No, sure. Yeah, no. And of course, I get Bill Murray. People always want to know about Bill Murray. Is he as crazy as they think he is? And I love Bill Murray. So it's. But how big is a Marshmallow Man? Disappointed that the weirdest thing I used to get was the Congo. People thought the gorillas were real. Of course they weren't.
Oh man, the Congo.
Yeah,
that movie.
Thought the gorilla actually talked, and it's funny how some of this stuff people really believe it's really happening. It's always surprising.
Yeah, that's the movie magic. Well, gentlemen, it has honestly been an absolute pleasure, and I really could do this for hours. Unfortunately, we have other things coming back to back, and obviously got a little something of everybody today. Just trying to make sure that we're bringing awareness to the causes that we're trying to raise money for. So once again, thank you so much for joining us today for the Iconic Characters panel. I know that you made a lot of really nice compliments to some of your co-stars, but from where I'm sitting, you guys have all those same traits yourselves. For everybody else, if you could go ahead and take a look below, you can donate to the COVID-19 relief fund that we have set up. Or if you would like to also contribute, you can go on to cameo.com and buy cameos. today and the last day today only to help generate as much as we possibly can for COVID-19 relief efforts. So once again, thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. You guys are iconic characters for a reason and iconic people. Thank you so much for participating. And everybody,
in, Kyle. Good job.
Thank you. Very good job. And I just want to say thanks to all the guys who reached out through Cameo. It's a blessing to be able to do this.
Yeah.
Take care, everybody. Gentlemen.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Lord of the Rings Nerd Out COVID-19 charity fundraiser by Cameo.com. Lovely to see you all here. We are joined by Sean Astin. Oh, by the way, I played Rosie Cotton in Lord of the Rings. We are joined by Sean Astin, who played Samwise Gamgee, and Dominic Monaghan, who played Mary Brandybuck. It is so great to have you guys here with all of us online. How are you going?
It's so good to see you. But you haven't changed a bit, Sarah. You look the same. Dom, of course, looks very, very long in the tooth now. At this point, he's going slowly, but we'll just put up with it.
Look, gray hair. I call this gray hair ex-girlfriends. That's what I call this section of my face.
I call this children.
Sarah, you do look exactly the same. It's crazy to have been frozen in time from those movies to now. It's such a compliment to you.
Well, I just love the fact that even though it's been 21 years since we all started filming, the fact that, the movies live on. It's awesome.
Yeah. I was saying to Billy and I might do this in the next couple of weeks. We're not the most technically savvy people in the world, so how we work it out, we're not sure. But we had said possibly us watching Lord of the Rings from a remote location and having people tune in at the same time, watching us watch Lord of the Rings whilst they do the same thing might be a good idea, simply because some of those messages in Lord of the Rings, that one person can make a huge difference to keep going, to persevere, to believe in hope, things like that. I think these messages are really helping people through this challenging time that we all find ourselves in.
I was talking to somebody yesterday, and I was trying to work out if the virus could be Sauron, or Sauron could represent the virus in some way. Tolkien was so clear in his letters about how that Sauron was not a metaphor for Hitler, which I always thought was ridiculous. Like, he was writing during the Second World War. He clearly feels like it, but he was adamant about that, and I struggle with it. But now, I was just wondering, like, is it, you have to try and muster all of your mental, emotional, and physical energy to cope with what's going on right now, and that's as you defeat the virus. I don't know.
Find the one.
I think obviously, Sean and I are very excited to be answering all manner of questions from so many people. Which Sarah, I'm sure you have a nice enough list at this point. But I am interested to ask both of you guys before we begin about Lord of the Rings specific stuff. When this all kicked in, and now we're in a place of probably being in some way comfortable with what's happening. What are the tools that you guys have implemented into your life that have worked, and what are the things that you've left behind that don't seem to serve you right now? Because I've made some massive changes.
I don't know what it was like in New Zealand. Like how did you guys do a full lockdown right away? I know
we did. We had, I think we locked down when we had, I don't know how many cases it was. We've only had 11 deaths. We'd had no deaths. I think we had, I don't know, it might have been 20 cases, and we went into full lockdown, and we're still in lockdown. So
you guys did fantastically well.
We haven't been out. I was thinking about the things I haven't used for like the last month. My sunglasses, the car keys, my wallet. I have not used my wallet in a month. We find out on Monday if we're going to go down to level 3, but that will still mean kids are going to be staying at home. Essential services and safe services will potentially be what will start on Wednesday for maybe 2 weeks. But yeah, I mean, it's great that we've only had the 11. I mean, it's sad that we've had deaths at all, but we've only had 11 so far. And very, very few cases.
So I'm here at home with my wife, Christine, and our 2 younger daughters, Elizabeth and Bella. Allie, our oldest daughter, who was in our scene together at the end of the third movie, she's 23 now, and she's in an apartment on the other side of town, and she's alone in her apartment. So she's had it, I think, the worst of anybody. But they all 4 of them have asthma, pretty strong asthma, and so they are, they're very worried. Our protocols for interacting with other people are kind of on the extreme side of paranoid. But the one thing, the aside from realizing that Zoom is like, I don't know, I'm busier now doing Zoom meetings and things than I've ever been in my life doing anything else. But the backyard, going in the backyard and getting sun is, I don't know if I'm a formal sun worshiper at this point, but I really set aside from all the things that we do, we have dinner together every night, which is, a lot of times before we didn't do that. We didn't have that ritual, and now we do. And that's pretty sacred. But going out in the sun is just, and so it rained for 4 or 5 days, and we're like, my sun salutations are over. But that's the one real thing that I can think of.
Getting outside.
Yeah.
Hey, I just want to jump in here and just add in a quick reminder to everybody that while you're watching, you can donate to the COVID-19 Relief Fund by clicking the link in the description or by going to cameo.com, and all purchases will support COVID-19 relief charities, as indicated on the website. Right, well, I reckon it's about time to get into some questions about Lord of the Rings. So sit back and I'll fire through the first one. So it's been almost 20 years since The Fellowship of the Ring was released in theatres across the globe, which was in December the 19th, 2001, and has really stood the test of time. What does this milestone mean to you guys, given that Lord of the Rings has become one of the greatest and most influential film series ever made? I'll address this
first?
to Sean.
Sure,
I saw Dom grit his teeth like,
Yeah, I can run with that one. I'm sure Sean and I will both have answers to that question. Peter Jackson told us when we were making the films, and certainly when we were doing press for the films, that this was going to be something that he would never experience again. And I was 23 by the time we were doing press, and maybe it was my age or maybe it was just the state of mind that I had at that point. But I remember kind of just having that roll off my back. Yeah, okay, Pete, fine. Yeah, I mean, I'll do another great movie like this. I'll be involved in another epic movie like this at some point in my life. The further I've got away from it, and maybe the further we've all got away from it, the more significant those things that film has become. I mean, it is a milestone in film history, is something that people continue to mention. The fact that I've been involved with it is obviously something that I'm so proud of. I think we were just saying just before we started this thing that potentially some of the major themes in this film are not only helpful to us, to bring us some hope, like, you know, one person can make a huge difference, and believe in the goodness of people, and that you must carry on and things like that. But like Sean had said, things like the character of Sauron, or the character of evil in the Lord of the Rings books and the Lord of the Rings films, might represent some of the paranoia and some of the fear that we have right now. So it speaks to where we're at, and the fact that we were so heavily involved with it is something that just brings me great pride. It also ages me 20 years, so that terrifies me.
Yeah. I mean, 20 years, just wow. That is, I don't know. I think one of the things that I love is that the films still hold up. You know, I haven't watched them very much over the last 10 years, a few times maybe. I don't know if I've watched them all the way through ever at least in the last decade. But what I see, the special effects and the performances, but just the scale of it, and it just, to me, it still can transport you. And so for 20 years, I mean, a lot of the other things that I've done, you know, things that were popular, we were talking about Goonies before we came on, you know, Goonies is so great in so many ways. It's kitsch. It's like it's in a time capsule. It's like cracking the seal on tennis balls. You're like, oh, that's 1985, you know. And but Lord of the Rings is timeless. I mean, it really, you know, that's my feeling, and it makes me, you know, because there's been so many technological advances. You know, Gollum was the start of something, you know, a whole way of doing CG, you know, motion control and all that. And that was at the very beginning stages. And so it's a little, yeah, I mean, pride is really the word that Tom said that you have to live with. I'm proud of it. And, you know, Ali, it just blows my mind that you said 23, because I was 29 when we started making it. And I don't know, to me, we were all the same age. I didn't think of you as 10 years. I mean, Elijah was 10 years younger than I was. And I remember thinking that, but then as you went along, it's like it all felt like this. I regressed. You guys matured and I regressed over the course of it. But Ali, who was there with us the whole time we were just talking about, is your age, is now, she's 23. She's the same age now as you were when you started doing press for it. And that, you know.
That's amazing.
You know, the Beatles, and certainly George Harrison talks about the fact that because he was the youngest Beatle, he was always treated as the youngster who didn't really have too much to say and hadn't had those life experiences, and was talked down to a little bit by John Lennon and by Paul McCartney and Ringo to a lesser extent. I don't necessarily think that we ever talked down to Elijah, because simply based on who he was as a person and his performance, you know, we held him in high regard. But no question, I always thought of Elijah as the younger one of the hobbits. You know, Elijah's a 40-year-old man now. You know, he has a child. I still think of him as this guy who we had to smuggle into bars in New Zealand because he wasn't old enough to have a drink yet. You know, it's amazing how you get frozen in time.
Yeah. Here's a question for you, Sean. This comes directly from a fan. How did you feel about the iconic "But I Can Carry You" scene, which was shot very early on, and having to keep it and your performance a secret? It was Oscar worthy.
Nice.
Thank you for that. Okay, just going back on a lot of people talk to me about the two towers, the end of the two towers. I can't carry. There's some good left in this world. So I'm trying to think of, well, that moment, the moment of "I can't carry it for you, but I can't carry you." That was in. Now, for those of you here who are, well, we're allowed to curse here. This is not a curse word, but it sounds like a curse word. But it's not a curse word. But it sounds like a curse word. It's WHA in New Zealand, in Maori is fa. So we were filming in Whakapapa. Was the name of the right? That's the name of the town where we were, and we were filming on Mount Ruapehu, and that mountain, you know, is a living, breathing, shaking volcano, and I don't know, it was it was a sacred experience. I could tell stories about it that would go on. I mean, I could talk for an hour about that moment, but it really was a moment of divinity or something. It was a spiritual awakening for me, and just to have Elijah there, and Peter cried, and Peter was pretty stoic. Peter Jackson was pretty stoic. He had a great, you know, cheeky sense of humor, and was really, you know, and so clever and smart, and kind of an epic personality. But I don't think I had experienced him emotional before that. And when we were in the middle of this, the scene doing it, he came around and I was waiting for, whatever the direction was going to be. And he had tears streaming down his face. And then I got so excited. I was like, can we do it again? Can we do it again? Like I wanted to make him feel that more, So it was, and then, I think the sun had gone down. It was too dark to film anymore. The crew had left, but I wouldn't let Elijah up. I just kept wanting to do it over and over again, mostly because it was dialogue. And Sam doesn't have that much dialogue, so I wanted to keep doing it.
Nice, thank you. Here's one for you, Dom. How long did you take to recover from the tree bed scenes in regards to the bike seats? How do you feel about the scene that was deleted where you're holding Pippin in your arms during the Battle of the Black Gate? That someone always wanted to know what happened there.
Yeah, when you're making a huge picture like that, so much is going to get left on the cutting room floor. It's just something you have to get used to as an actor, kind of lose any sense of pride over your performance, because it's going to be up to the director as to what gets left in and what doesn't get left in. I was talking to JJ last night about something that we shot for Star Wars that didn't end up in Star Wars, and JJ said, look, it was a fantastic scene. I really wanted it to be in the film. We just couldn't make it work. It's not a personal thing, and you have to get rid of all those kind of personal feelings about it. So I think, to talk about the tree bed thing, the fact that I was with Billy was the saving grace there. I mean, obviously Billy and I were very tight. If it had been just me, I think I would have really struggled. It was a second unit shoot, which meant that Peter wasn't there that much. Sometimes he'd come in, check out what we were doing, and then leave, and usually go work with Sean and Elijah because they were doing different things. But for us, we were being directed by Rick Porras for a lot of it. Barry Osborne, the producer of Lord of the Rings, was there too. We were about, I don't know, somewhere between 15 and 20 foot up this animatronic tree. And we very quickly realized that to come down, because we were strapped in for safety reasons, to come down took us a few minutes, and then to get back up took us a few minutes. So we eventually just said, just leave us up here. People would go take breaks. People would bring us our lunch up there. It was kind of misery coupled with company. So we just kind of got on with it. And we really didn't know what it was going to look like, because all it was at that point was this model that did this. And I remember Billy and I thinking, if that's what it does in the film, this whole sequence could go away, because it really wasn't great. Obviously, that was a model for what it's ultimately going to do, which is that coupled with a whole bunch more movement. So that was certainly tough, but it was Billy that saved me in that situation. And then what was the other part of the question? Oh, the Billy scene. We reshot that sequence to have Billy find me unconscious. I think Pete was looking for a slightly higher emotional moment, and to have Pippin find me and ultimately think maybe Mary's died felt like, I think, more of an emotional peak for Pete and possibly the audience than the way that it was originally shot. So many of those things are now a blur, because the stuff that didn't end up in the movie has almost disappeared from my brain. I just don't remember.
I remember walking by where they were doing Treebeard and looking up at them and thinking, wow, look at them up there.
It's agony. Agony.
What are some of the funniest memories that you guys have from the time of filming?
Asking Dom what a funny memory is like asking what grain of sand is your favorite when you walk on the beach.
I mean, so much of that is probably, we have a circle of trust between the actors and between the crew, where a lot of the funny moments are things that we have to keep to ourselves, because it might not be appropriate to talk about them. I mean, in terms of things that we can talk about, I hold very dear the first day of filming, which was myself, Sean Astin, Elijah Wood, and Billy Boyd. I think it was very specifically engineered by Pete that he wanted the Hobbits to start the shoot, and he wanted at least 10 days or 2 weeks of strict Hobbit work before he brought in Ian McKellen and Orlando and John Rhys Davis and Vigo to try and create that nucleus. And on that first day, we were falling down the hill, and then realizing that we were on the road and the Black Riders were coming our way. And whether it was my naivety or whether it was because we had been lulled into a real sense of security with all of these rehearsals, we were just goofing off, having fun, enjoying ourselves, laughing and joking. This is now a classic story that people know about, but in one of the falls down onto the ground, Elijah accidentally let go of a little bit of flatulence, which became kind of a half an hour laugh-a-thon at his expense. So I remember that.
There's you'll of course you'll remember this, but Billy and I talk about this when we do panels and stuff. You and Billy were merciless with me with your mind reading game. They had the game where they could telepathically identify objects with each other. And to this day, I think it's real, because I was begging them, pleading with them, please, it's too hard. I need to know. And they felt badly for me that they that I didn't have the power and that they couldn't explain it well enough to me. So I still carry a lot of resentment about that, and I'm bitter, so we probably shouldn't talk about it.
What did
sorry, but the life imitating art thing of projects and great projects is something that happens. And I think obviously in the books and in the movies, Sam has such a strong loyalty to Frodo that is his guy. And Merry and Pippin in some way represent getting Frodo into trouble and being part of the mischief. And maybe to a certain extent, Sam wants them to just calm down and let Frodo do his thing. And I think off camera, there was a little bit of that with Sean, where we were lightheartedly always teasing Sean because he represented Sam. He represented the guy that was like, come on, like, this is serious. Sam's character, this is serious. We're in trouble here. We got to do stuff. And Merry and Pippin are grabbing mushrooms and carrots and having fun, and it's all fun and games until it's not fun and games. I think the life imitating art thing was huge on that movie.
Yeah.
Hey, Sean, I've got a photograph here of behind the scenes that I thought back in the day.
Baby Frodo.
You've not changed either, Sean.
No,
looking pretty similar there.
Oh no! Wow, that's
but it's incredible, like how long ago it was, and yet how it doesn't feel that long ago.
No, it doesn't. I think that's a function of I hope that's true. If we're lucky enough to live another 20 years or 40 years, that I hope it's the same.
Well, I wonder if maybe being involved in a film that the public doesn't allow to die also, keeps that myth alive. If you're involved in a film that came and went from the cinemas and people don't tend to talk about it, but I subscribe to a lot of film, movie, DVD podcasts, and very often they mention Lord of the Rings as a piece of pop culture, and I think that thing makes it feel so current, so recent.
Well, I think that with everybody being in lockdown at the moment, a lot of people will be watching those movies, the extended versions probably, all the way through, because it's going to take a fair bit of time.
I've been hearing that. The now
we've got a few more minutes, guys. So Sean?
No, I was just going to say that now in movies, there's so many epic trilogies that are made now. I mean, there's only a few I guess Star Wars and Raiders, and there were others that did that, and Back to the Future, but I don't know, something about Lord of the Rings feels like it was the start of like a genre of these epic films, the Marvel films and all that. And now it's common at the end of the films during the trailer or during the credits to see all of the babies that were made during those films. And I feel like our babies were made just a little bit before it, but there is that sense of community, that sense of like, marriages and weddings. And you show that tent with us in it. And like, I'm trying to think, like, where was that particular tent that particular day? Like, that looks like it was north.
I think it was in Hobbiton.
Yeah.
I mean, Matamata.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. It's like a circus. It's like a circus, you're traveling, you're doing things are happening, and that sense of community and family will never go away in my heart.
And that is what we are needing to continue to draw on now, isn't it? Like in the wider picture of what's happening in the world, drawing on community, love, keeping ourselves as elevated as we can within these difficult times by reaching out to each other like we are right now. So yeah, it's definitely
we're involved in a huge social experiment, and it's an opportunity to try and push through and stay positive. And we're going to have moments of doubt in those moments, but it seems like the whole world is going through this. And sometimes we can tap into the world's sense of anxiety and negativity and a lack of hope. And if you're feeling well and you're okay to a certain extent, I think there is a responsibility to represent the voice of the humans that are saying, we're going to get through this, we're going to be okay. Not only that, we're going to be stronger on the other way out.
Yeah. One of the coolest themes about Lord of the Rings is its environmental message. It's the Ents and the Shire, the type of pastoral place that it is. And it's really interesting to me that now the whole world has seen that it's possible to cooperate in an instant. We can all go into agreement in an instant that we can go inside, and the impacts on the natural environment now are incredible to behold. And in the coming years, we may have to do this. It may not be as acute, human threatening, dynamic as a virus is, but we need to protect ourselves. So I agree with what Dom said completely, and would try and say as a social experiment, we can take pride in what we've accomplished as a species over the last
in this time. Yeah. Well, that is going to wrap up our Lord of the Rings panel. Thank you guys both for your time. We could have gone for another
like 2 questions.
Hour.
It's crazy.
Wait, I want to say something. If you're watching this, first of all, Dom, it's so good to see you, and I can't wait to be on the trail. And Sarah, it's so beautiful to see you too. And I just send you and the kids all my love on behalf of our family.
Thanks.
I would just say this, everyone. Ernie, Hudson, and Frakes, and the people who are right before us, and whoever's coming after us, we're all competing to raise the most money. A Cameo is trying to raise $1 million for the Cameo Cares charities, and I know they're going to be able to look at the metrics of who raised the most money. So if you're a Lord of the Rings fan and you appreciate what we said, please go and either book cameos or do whatever they say to do for things. Because I want to be able to carry Dom up a hill and say we did the most.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you very, very much, everybody. Hey, look, and also everyone who's watching, we send you lots of love. As we say in New Zealand, kia kaha. It means be strong. All the best for the coming weeks, months. Who knows how long this is going to go for. So we say farewell to Sean and Dom.
Kia kaha.
Kia kaha. Next up,
we'll do it again.
Yeah, we will. And next up, we have on Cameo Cares, we'll be joined by some of your favorite wrestling superstars. So stay tuned. And don't forget, if you haven't already donated, then there's the link in the description, or you can purchase from cameo.com, where once again, all proceeds are going to the COVID-19 Relief Fund. Go well.
Hello.
Hello. Now,
hello.
If we're live, does that mean we're starting?
We're live, buddy. We're live.
I love it. I think we're missing Rey Mysterio, though. Am I right?
We'll be right back.
Or am I having to push this little? Let me put this little gallery.
We're missing Rey Mysterio and Bret Hart.
And Bret Hart and Jerry Lawler.
Am I not here?
King's there.
Oh, there's Jerry. Sorry, there's Jerry.
All right. Ready. 619.
We're live, but unofficially starting live.
There he is.
Right here. There's Ray Ray.
Hey. Booyaka.
I'm waiting for the voice of God to say that we should start, but maybe I should go ahead and start. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and get started since we got everybody here. First of all, I want to thank all the fans out there that are tuning in. Man, you guys know how much you mean to us. And we're still trying to get Bret Hart on here. Are we working on that, by the way?
Yes, we are.
Okay. I want to make sure we don't leave him out because, Bret's the one kind of, leading the path of all of us being here. But it's just such an honor, seriously, first of all, guys, here in the room, to be here with all of you, to be in such a tough week that we have had. There's Bret. Thanks, Bret, for joining us. We've had a tough week. I'm going to talk about that. But first, I want to introduce each one of you. As you know, I'm Lilian Garcia, and luckily enough, I was with the WWE for 15 years. What a ride. Great ride. And what I love about everything is just the family bond that we've all created. First, from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. In his 20-plus year career, he was a 5-time WWE World Heavyweight Champion, a 2-time WCW World Heavyweight Champion, and in 2006 inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. Big round of applause for Bret the Hitman Hart!
Yes.
Nice to have you, Bret.
Hey, everybody.
Right.
Nice panel.
Yeah, it's so great to all be here. From Cameron, North Carolina, this WWE star has had a ton of different ring names and has also competed in TNA as well as Ring of Honor and now AEW. A 14-time World Tag Team Champion. Please welcome Matt Hardy.
Guys and girls, delete them.
Don't delete us, Matt. Don't delete us. Born in Westchester County, New York, she began a professional fitness competition career in 2013 and went on to become a bodybuilding competitor the following year. Things I never knew about Mandy.
Really?
In 2015, she placed second in WWE competition Tough Enough, and after which she was signed to a contract with the WWE and joined the reality television show Total Divas as a main cast member for one season. Please welcome Mandy Rose.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me.
Also a New Yorker, I should say, from Yonkers, New York. 2-time ECW champion, a 14-time WWE Hardcore champion, and in 2012, Dreamer started his own wrestling promotion called House of Hardcore. Please welcome Tommy Dreamer.
What up?
He's hardcore. He's hardcore.
I love the fact because there's some, you've got this hesitation on your line. It's like, he's hardcore. All right.
I live in the forest.
Yeah, I can see that. All the way from Memphis, Tennessee, he has held more recognizable championships than any professional wrestler in history. Prominent voice of Monday Night Raw as a legendary commentator, and in 2007 inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. It's Jerry the King Lawler.
Hello, everybody.
And last but not least, of course, born in Chula Vista, California, trained under Rey Mysterio Sr. and developed a high-flying style and the finishing move, the 619 kick to honor San Diego. Please welcome 2-time World Heavyweight Champion, Rey Mysterio.
Nice, thank you.
You know, those are some very short introductions, but this whole thing could have been filled up with the accolades that all of you guys have definitely developed throughout the years. I want to say congratulations because it's not an easy profession to be in, but let me tell you, and we know it, wrestlers, we do bond. We have a special feeling for each other and a special camaraderie and family. And like I said, it's been a very hard week with a lot of releases, a lot of furloughs, and then the loss of the legend Howard Finkel. I want to give any of you the platform right now if you would like to speak to anything that's happened this week.
I say we go Bret Hart, then Jerry Lawler. Come on, we got to pay our respect. We pay our dues.
Well, I think this is it's a really trying time for everybody. Unfortunately, this week has been a kind of a tough on despite all the problems we've got with the coronavirus and all that. We have to take the time sometimes to remember the guys we lose away, and we lost a great, really good soul in Howard Finkel this past week. And I know for me, just for me alone, and the memories I got with Howard Finkel go back to my very first day that I started in WWE, and all the times I could think of the excitement and the energy that he brought to me and and the intensity and the emotion in his voice. So many times when I won titles, lost titles, he's just one of those little pieces to the machine that I think all of us had some kind of connection. And to lose him this week was, I think, just one more blow for the wrestling industry. And it's been a tough year where we lost a lot of games.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that watching after, of course, we heard the really sad news about Howard. Everybody tuning into social media, it was good in one sense to see everybody's tributes to Howard, and everybody that knew Howard so well, that everybody that worked with him for all those years at the WWE, everybody was posting special memories of him, and that was it was satisfying in the fact that it was so sad to lose Howard, but then to go back and have all of those memories of Howard, and people were posting different pictures of Howard through the years, and somebody posted one that I didn't even remember doing, but I guess I had Howard on one of my early King's Courts when we were doing it from the Manhattan Center. And apparently it must have been his birthday or something. I smashed a birthday cake in Howard's face, and I didn't even remember that. But the great thing about Howard was I found this from the day I started there in 1993. And of course, Howard was already there. But I think everybody realized about Howard was he was such a genuine person, and he was so friendly and so helpful to everybody that started working there in the WWE, and he stayed that way throughout his entire career. I mean, if you ever needed to know anything, if you ever needed help with anything, Howard Finkel was the guy to go to, and he was just a great guy. And even though in the past few years, he had the onset, Tommy, of Alzheimer's, and Tommy, you're probably closer to Howard than anybody over these past few years. And it was, I lost my mother the same way to Alzheimer's, and it's so sad, especially when you're with the person, on a daily basis like you were, Tommy, to see the progression of that disease. And I know Howard would come around; they would bring Howard around to some of the more recent events, and you could just your heart went out to him because you knew that. He just really wasn't there towards the end. I mean, it was just not the same Howard. But thankfully, like I said, with social media and everything, everybody has great memories of Howard Finkel, and those memories will live on forever.
Yeah, with the releases, with the time that it is hard. But if you look at everybody on this panel, except for Mandy, we have all survived outside of the WWE. It will always be our legacy, and it has provided great memories as well as financial rewards. But wrestlers, we're like no others, and we thrive under any circumstances. And for these last 2 years, myself at 48 and 47, I did 206 shows just being an independent wrestler or working for AEW or Impact. We're all survivors, and we can adapt. WWE will be our legacy, and it'll be, for a lot of guys, great, but that's business. I just watched a documentary about Cal Ripken Jr., who was the greatest Oriole of all time. He was there, and his father was the manager, and he got fired while he was on the team because it was business. And everybody that I've reached out to, they understand the business. And things like this are awesome because we all followed our dreams, but you never realize how you affect others. And during the time when the world needs us, just for people taking time out we're helping others as well as helping ourselves, because it's great to see everybody. I haven't seen all these people in so long. So you never know how your life's work has affected others until you're able to see it from other people. So that's awesome. When it comes to Howard, I would visit Howard once a month because he lived about 2 hours from me. And his mind was going. He had a rare genetic disorder in his brain where his brain was shrinking, which meant it was kind of like King said, he was suffering dementia quicker. But the thing that got him all the time back was wrestling. And like I'd walk in and he'd be looking at me and he'd start like hitting his head and he'd be like, "Am I dreaming?" And I was like, "What, Howard? You don't recognize me?" And I go, "From Yonkers, New York." And he'd go, "Tommy Dreamer." And wrestling would kick him back into no matter what. And then like even what King said, posting pictures on social media helped. And then it was somebody who pointed out on Howard's board from a picture that I just took for him, his medical need was, please put channel 43 on at 8 p.m. on Monday nights. Wrestling is on.
Wow.
And, Howard couldn't operate a remote control or pick up the phone anymore, but that's all he wanted. And he was the number one employee and he's the most loyal to the WWE. He had nobody, but he loved the wrestlers. We were his family, and the wrestling fans were everything to him. And that gave me great solace. And for what the WWE put up there on that video, I was crying, as my daughters would always say, happy tears, because I was like, man, Howard would have loved this, because we're all marks for ourselves. And that was a great piece that WWE did.
I wanted to throw in about Howard too. He was very influential in myself and my brother getting booked at WWE in the mid-90s before we were ever under a contract and we were just coming as extras. Howard would always go out of his way to try and hook us up and give us bookings. And we had this little thing we would say between one another. I would say to him, "It's okay. Are you good for these dates?" And I'd go, "Howard, I'm good to go." And he would always hit me up and say, "Matt, I'm just wearing a check. Are you good to go?" His iconic voice. And that was always our joke. Every time we were around, until the last time I saw him, he would say, "Hey, Matt, is everything good to go?" So we owe Howard that. If it wasn't for Howard, he definitely was influential in the Hardy Boys making their way to the WWE.
Yeah, I will say, I don't know if you guys even know this, but my very first day on the job, I was told that I was going to be ring announcing that very night. And I remember Howard coming to me and I looked at him like, wait, what? I, at that moment, wanted to sink into a hole because I had not been trained for that spot. And I looked at him and I was like, there's no way that I can go on Monday Night Raw, never have done this job. And now I'm supposed to step in your feet, in your shadow, in your everything. And he's like, "You're going to do this and I'm going to help you." And that's exactly what he did. And if it wasn't for Howard, I would have been completely just a failure. But he set me up to win because he was that kind of person. And that takes a lot. When he could have been bitter at the fact that I was replacing him. But instead, he just embraced me with open arms and was there every step of the way. So I owe him a lot.
Very passionate about what he did for many years. And like Bret said, we lost a really good soul. And I was truly blessed to have seen him last year. Like Tommy was saying that he was coming around and King was saying that he was coming around to the show. Just to be able to connect with him and to see a smile on his face. And like you said, he would bring back so many memories to him that would make him feel at home. But one thing that I keep, that Howard struggled a lot with, he would always want me to help him roll the R in we managed to get that to work, but I do want to send my condolences to all his friends and all his family. We love him very, very much.
Well, with all that said, so let's get into this. First of all, I know we have some questions coming in, and I do want to address that. But I want to talk about the fact, all of us are here trying to raise money. This is why we're on here, trying to get $1 million for Cameo Cares, for the relief charities that they have. And so, guys, until through tonight, all the money that you guys book for us from Cameos is going to go for that. So I definitely want to encourage that. Just go to cameo.com. Also, you can donate right now down below, I believe in the description. You can go ahead and donate. Like we said, it's been a rough week, but we're all here trying to make the best of everything that's happened in COVID-19 and how it's affecting us. I want to know from, I guess, Matt, you're now at AEW's, but you're performing in an empty arena. Jerry, you're announcing for an empty arena. Ray, Mandy, you guys are performing for empty arenas. Like how, Mandy, let's start with you. I want to hear from you. How's that been for you? What a transition.
Yeah, it's been quite the transition, obviously. Well, first of all, I want to say it's really such an honor to be on a panel with so many legends. I feel like, a little out of place with all you guys, but it's an honor. And but going back to that, it's been a challenge for sure. And for me, not being in the business very long, and every day is always something new and challenging. It's definitely been a challenge for me, but it's been fun because I've been in a really great storyline right now, and it's also been every time we go, we're expecting something different, and I don't know what I'm going to feel when I'm out there without any fans because we're so used to feeding off of our fans and the interaction. But so far I've had great experiences, especially last night on SmackDown with our segment with Sonya Deville and Dolph Ziggler and Otis, and we got really great feedback from that, and getting that great feedback, especially not having the fan interaction, did really mean a lot, and it's been good so far, and I know it's been a challenge for everyone. So,
Matt, you want to speak to that? How it's been now? You left WWE, you went to AEW. First of all, why did you feel the need for that transition? And how's it been now? You make a big entrance and there's no one there.
It's been great. I have nothing but the best of things to say about the people at AEW. And even the way it's been during this, they took a few weeks off before they were going to start resuming their tapings. They taped a whole bunch at one time. It was very weird because my big debut was in an empty arena, in this big arena in Jacksonville. And I think being in these empty arenas more than anything else is a very stark reminder of how important the crowd is. It's tough to go out there not feeding off anyone, not interacting with anyone, and it just shows once again, and it will forever be reinforced. The crowd is like a part of the show. They are so important. I mean, the crowd makes everything so much better. Whenever you're not feeding off their emotion and their passion, it just makes everything a lot tougher. But being pros, that's what we do. We go out there and we perform because we're performing for the viewers that are watching on television.
Ray, were you quarantined?
I was quarantined right before the Mania taping, and not necessarily because I had symptoms of the virus, but because I started to feel that I was coming down with the cold. I had the sniffles and I had chills on my body, and for the safety of my colleagues, WWE requested that I stay home and not put anybody at risk. So this happened on a Friday night. I was supposed to leave Sunday, and they wanted me to update them as the day moved on before I left. Saturday, I still felt the same. Sunday, a bit worse. And so it was a decision that they had made for me to stay, which was, at the end of the day, a good decision. I definitely didn't pick up any symptoms again from the virus. And throughout the rest of the week, I started feeling better. But God forbid something would have happened, and my immune system was probably on low during that time, so it could have been easier for me to pick the virus up traveling.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm glad that you're safe for sure from that. I know you're back now, right?
Yes, I'm back. I was just at TV last week, and I'm moving forward from this point on. Matt said, the fans are 100% part of our production, part of what we do. We feed off of them. And if I'm not mistaken, I think we've all been on the same boat where we're in an arena where there's a full crowd, but the crowd is completely silent. It's very hard to get them up on their feet and to get them to applaud or to just get into the matches. And that reminds me of what we're going through right now.
Yeah.
But with the difference that we are in front of an empty arena, and the focus is no longer the person in the front row, maybe something going on outside of the ring. The focus is completely 100% on the two wrestlers and the referee that are doing their. So I feel like that shows a side of tension from all of us because we've never been there. But at the same time, we have to remember that we are doing this for our fans that are at home, that are staying safe, and that we want to keep them entertained through these hard times.
Yeah.
And Lilian, like to me, when you're playing football, baseball, hockey, you're always in front of like your family or your friends. But for all of us, you know, we all started training and having simulated matches against nobody. You know, Bret Hart probably wrestling in the dungeon in front of his father. And the best part about all of this is that stars and legends are able to connect with people. And if you notice the difference where we're breaking the fourth wall, where we're talking to the people, that's old school. And, you know, there's an old saying, old school will never die. And the great talents are really, really stepping up in WWE, AEW. I just drove literally 15 hours to Tennessee and recorded, wrestled, agented, and wrote 2 months of Impact Wrestling. And it's going to start airing this week. And we did that all in 3 days. And the situation is different, but, you know, the stars will always shine, you know, like Bret and Jerry, they've wrestled in front of like 2-3 people probably, and still wrestlers go out there and work if it's sold out WrestleMania or it's no fans WrestleMania. Like I always say, wrestlers adapt, and that's why I always have so much respect for them.
Yeah. Bret, as a matter of fact, I mean, can you remember a time in the entire time that you were wrestling, anything like this happening so impactful?
No, nothing close, nothing in my lifetime has ever compared with this time. But you know, my thoughts about you know, the work trying to wrestle without a crowd. I realized because I watched UFC, and I remember watching it with no crowd, and I thought the same thing. This could be really hard. But in watching that, I realized that, you know, eventually you're going to focus on the two wrestlers, and it's actually a really good time for wrestlers to show it's all about the wrestling. It's not about the promos and the crowds and stuff. And all you got to do is, I was thinking I would probably flourish in this kind of environment because I was always a good, solid, realistic kind of wrestler. So I could make the wrestling. I could maybe get you to focus on the wrestling. And I think that's why I'm happy with what I've seen in the wrestling matches. I know the 2-night WrestleMania. I thought it was really good, and I thought the guys worked really hard. And I thought all things considered, it was an exceptionally well done, memorable 2 nights of wrestling. And I thought, you know, it's like the art. It's all about the art form and the skill of each wrestler. And you know, it'll come down to that in the end. And like Dreamer said, it's like, great wrestling never dies. Old school wrestling will never die. Always go down to basics. And you know, you can still work a headlock and make people believe. And it's not all about jumping and leaping and twirling around like ballerinas. And I think it's a good lesson for everyone today that don't forget where wrestling came from. God always put a little bit on the straight side, so people, you know, there's still that question mark about it. But if you can't wrestle today with no crowd, I think it's because you're too much of a showman. The wrestlers that are going to shine and have shined so far with no crowd are showing that it's about the wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And that credit to the wrestlers in the business.
Very cool. All right, I want to go ahead and take some questions from the fans, so that, because we were talking about the fans and how important they are, we definitely want to bring them in here. First of all, let's see. One of them says, it's a question for anyone. Who was your favorite opponent in the ring? So Jerry, let's start with you, because you've done a lot of commentary, but you've done a lot of wrestling through the years.
Yeah, only about 50 years worth.
You know, that's all.
Well, a couple of my favorites of all time are right here on this panel with me. Tommy Dreamer. I've loved to work with Tommy Dreamer, but of course, Bret the Hitman Hart. When anybody asks me, you know, from the time I started in the WWE, I guess my most noteworthy opponent, and the one that had the biggest, I start to say feud, we're not supposed to say feuds, the biggest rivalry with was Bret. And so he was one of my all-time favorites. in the modern era. Of course, I mean, I get guys like from the Memphis time, Bill Superstar Dundee, Handsome Jimmy Valiant. One of my all-time favorite champions was Nick Bockwinkel, a guy that just doesn't get a lot of recognition, but he was one of the greatest of all time. And of course, Terry Funk. I mean, my career has stretched so long and so far back. I can name people that I still, when I say it myself, I still can't believe that I actually had matches with. I had a tag team match in Memphis when I was first getting started against Lou Thez and Pat O'Connor, and the special referee was Jersey Joe Walcott, who was an old time world championship boxer. So that's how far I go back with with wrestling, and I've wrestled just about at one time or other every single wrestler that's come along since then. All the way from back to the Lou Thez guys and up until today's guys, Kevin Owens and all the different guys today. So, but I can honestly say that Bret Hart right there. I told everybody the biggest check I ever got in the wrestling business at one time was with Bret Hart. I mean, I still have a picture of it framed on my wall when we had the Kiss My Foot match at at one of the pay-per-views back in the day. I couldn't believe anybody would get paid that much money for doing something that was so much fun. Yeah, so Bret was one of the big ones for me.
Wow, that's awesome. Bret, why don't we go to you? By the way, I can't believe this half hour has gone so fast, but I'm getting like a few minute warning here. So I want to try to get to everybody though. What has been your favorite opponent?
My favorite opponent probably was Mr. Perfect. I mean, he was so much fun to work with, and he was just always such a total pro, and he was always so safe and so solid and realistic, and he was one of those guys that was fun to work with. And when you came back every night, you felt good, and you felt like you really had a great match. And I felt like that with Kurt, and I had so much fun with him every night. I would have to say will always be my favorite. Probably him or my brother Owen. Owen was a lot of fun to work with too. A lot of funny little humor things that nobody ever realized that he's saying something funny to you in the ring, and just a great. Every time you came back, it was like such a fun night just to go in there and wrestle.
Yeah, that's awesome. Ray, what about you?
I have to pick three of them throughout my three different phases in my career. In Mexico, Psychosis, without a doubt, because my matches with him were the matches that put me on the map for the first time ever. During my WCW years, Dean Malenko, who I learned so much from, was such a great mentor to me. And in WWE, Eddie Guerrero, I picked up so much from Eddie, and he's just such a great teacher without even wanting to do it. It was just his natural gift, and not only me, but he helped many. So yeah, I'd have to go with those three.
Great choices. All right, Matt Hardy, what about you?
I would say probably overall, myself and my brother, we had so many great tag team matches with Edge and Christian. We had the best chemistry with those guys. Really enjoyed that. Obviously, I worked with Edge so many times. I like wrestling my brother a lot too. And as we got older, I think I became more comfortable with it. And, speaking on what Bret was talking about earlier, we were very inspired by the Bret and Owen match, WrestleMania 10, and we wanted to emulate that down the road. So that's cool that we got a WrestleMania moment and had WrestleMania 25. And Ray too. I loved wrestling with Ray. He mentioned Eddie Guerrero. Eddie was one of a kind too. So many great guys.
That is so much talent. So much talent. All right, Mandy, you're from the current roster now. Who's your favorite?
I'd have to go with Asuka. Asuka just has a certain type of energy in the ring, especially considering all of her experience. And, I don't compare to that much experience as Asuka, but every time I was in the ring with her, she just brought this type of energy that just made me want to just compete better and just improve. And, she helped me with a lot of, certain NXT matches we had in developmental. So, I'd have to go with Asuka.
Awesome. All right, Tommy, you're going to wrap this up for us because they're telling me we got to go, which they should have given us an hour. Come on.
Yeah, right.
Especially wrestlers. One, if we want to raise the most money, Otis should be dancing in a thong in the back of your apartment, Mandy, because it's still real to me, damn it.
Agreed.
For me, I just I started in 1989, so that's 5 decades. I'm still wrestling. This has been my dream since I'm 9 years old. Raven, Jerry Lawler, Matt Hardy. I could list every single match. I'm living my dream, and now I get to wrestle a younger generation. I wrestle Bob Orton, Randy Orton, Stupid Christian, Edge,